Now we discuss the testing procedure of the paired t-test. What is the null hypothesis? H naught mu1 is equal to mu2. So how do you write the verbal statement? The average change before experiment is equal to the average change after the experiment. Or else there is no significant difference in the mean changes of the sample before and after the experiment. So remember one technique, the verbal statement should match with that of the notation. So you need to cross verify whether your statement is what you call matching with that of the notations or not. This is the only technique whether your null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis is correct or not. Now here what is the alternative hypothesis is going to be? So for theory, blindfoldedly what you write, we use not equal to sign. So mu1 is not equal to mu2. The average change of the sample before treatment is not equal to after the treatment. Or else there is a significance difference. There is a significance. Be careful. Here I am using no significance because value is 0. But here what I am saying, there is a significance difference between the average changes of the sample before and after the treatment, before and after the experiment. Understand? So this is called the null and alternative hypothesis of our what we call paired t-test. Then what is the test statistic? The test statistic. Test statistic. The test statistic of what you call the paired t-test is given by T is equal to D bar whole divided by small s divided by square root under n minus 1, which follows t distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So this is called the paired t-test, what you call a test statistic. Carefully observe, which is nothing but the test statistic formula of what you call test for single mean comparison under the small samples. So there what is the formula? X bar minus mu by s by root n minus 1 in the t distribution formula. So instead of x bar minus mu, what you are writing here? D bar you are taking. Here what is meant by D bar? D bar is nothing but the average of the differences, that is sigma di by n. What is sigma? Where di is nothing but the difference of the observations. So how to write the difference of the observations? Before coaching value and after coaching value. From one another, if you subtract, that becomes what you call your di. Understand? And be careful that what is smallest? The smallest is nothing but the standard deviation. Standard deviation of what? The difference values. So what is the general formula? Sigma xi square by n minus x bar whole square under square root. So this is the general formula of what we call the standard deviation. But instead of xi, what are the values? The variable value. The variable here is nothing but the difference. Hence what this formula becomes now? So under square root sigma di square by n minus d bar whole square. Slight variation, that's all. So instead of xi, what you are taking here? dA values. What do you want to dA here? Difference of what you call the paired values. So this is very important point here. So after getting all this data, now what is the next thing? As usual, decision making. So what is that? If modulus of TC means T distribution calculated value is less than or equal to what you call the TT. What is TT? T distribution table value at a given alpha percent LOS for what you called required degrees of freedom. Both are important because under small sample test you are going to calculate one more information, what you call degrees of freedom. Here how many degrees of freedom? N minus 1. So if modulus of TC less than or equal to TT, so what is your decision making? You are going to accept the null hypothesis. If modulus of TC is greater than TT, what you are doing here blindfoldedly, you are rejecting the null hypothesis. So what you call this test procedure is known as the paired t-test. So when you are going to apply, whenever the same sample units are there and you are testing for average change before and after any experiment. Okay. Now let us see the what you call the testing procedure. So what is the test name? Paired t-test. What is the expansion name? Test for difference between the means of two dependent samples. Very important because both the times you are using the same sample. So the samples are dependent on each other. So what are the situations where you can use? To find out the effect of training on some employees. So HR situation, human resource management. So some group of employees will be selected. Before asking them to undergo a training, test will be conducted and marks will be noted down. And after the training will be provided, immediately again the same kind of test will be asked to what you called attend by those employees. Then also scores will be collected and matched. Based upon that, whether the training is effective or not can be decided. What is the one more situation? Find out the efficacy of a coaching class. We discussed to determine whether there is a significant difference in the efficiency of the drugs, medicines. Understand? So there also you can apply the paired t-test. Now what is the null hypothesis? H naught mu1 is equal to mu2. So don't confuse. The null hypothesis of the test for two population means comparison. Also just like this, but the meaning is quite different. The two means of the populations are equal. Now what is the alternate hypothesis? Mu1 is not equal to mu2. The two means of the populations are not equal. Now what is the test statistic? T is equal to d bar by small s by under square root n minus 1, which follows T distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. Then what is d bar? Sum of all the dA values, difference values by number of dA values. So how do you get di? Xi minus yi. Now how do you get s square for difference values? So this is the formula. Okay. Now how do you make the decision? So compare the calculated value at alpha percent LOS of T distribution table per n minus 1 degrees of freedom. If modulus of T or else TC value is less than or equal to the table value at n minus 1 degrees of freedom, accept H naught. So if you are accepting H naught means indirectly you are rejecting the alternative hypothesis H1. If modulus of T or else the TC greater than Tn minus 1, we reject the H naught. I mean to say we are accepting the alternative hypothesis H1. So this is the actual testing procedure of the paired t-test. If they ask you write the test procedure of the paired t-test, you need to write like this. So null and alternate hypothesis, the test statistic formula and decision making. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the altogether a different test and very useful test as far as your management decision making situation is concerned, which is nothing but the chi-square test. This is the Greek symbol chi-square, and how do you pronounce this? Chi-square. Should not pronounce this one as chi-square. It's a wrong way of pronouncing. How you need to pronounce this? Chi-square test. What do you mean chi-square test? So generally the chi-square test is useful when you are comparing the naturally happening things with that of the what to call the experiment information, and you want to test whether there is any significant difference between the naturally happening events to the experiment values. The naturally happening values, what to call this, the theoretical information, theory, and this data, what to call this one as experimental data. Okay, is there any significant difference between theory and practice, theory and what you called experimental values? If you want to identify, then you need to apply the chi-square test. Remember, all the statistical tools are available. The thing is, you should know actually which tool when to use. That is called the actual knowledge of what you call statistics. So you need to remember that. Now when you can use the chi-square test? Whenever the theory, if you want to compare the theory, the nature, the general pattern with that of what you call the experiment values, theory and practice, then you can apply the chi-square test. So I will give you here a few examples. Let us suppose that, okay, air ticketing or air ticketing traveling agency is there, and let us suppose that they were maintaining good data for few months, but based upon that data in a weekdays, if you observe, so any week how many days would be there? 7 days. They observed that on Wednesdays and Saturdays many of the people are booking the tickets. That ticket booking is happening because of what you called few special occasions, or naturally that is going to happen forever. If you want to test here, you can apply what you call the chi-square test. Understand? Same way, sometimes if you go to what you called the police records, you will be observing on few days of the weeks most of the what you call the road accidents will be taking place. Let us suppose on Tuesdays and as well as on Sundays. So by that, the police people cannot decide that the Tuesdays and as well as the Sundays are going to be bad days, and many of the accidents will occur only on Tuesdays and as well as the what you called the Sundays. So there should be a basis to decide that. So to decide like that, the basis is going to be the chi-square test. Understand? So truly speaking, a chi-square test is a non-parametric test. What is that? The non-parametric test. Till now, whatever you learned, all those tests falls under parametric tests. What do you mean a parametric test? The parametric tests are those tests where you before itself identify the values belongs to a particular distribution. I mean to say, as per knowledge, whatever you gain now, you may say that data belongs to a binomial distribution, a data belongs to a Poisson distribution, or else what you call to a normal distribution. Such a way, if you are able to identify this data belongs to that particular distribution, what do you call that? The parametric test. Parameters mean measurability. Something you can measure like mean, variance, standard deviation. All these are statistical measures, parameters. In few situations, nothing will be available to you, but still you are forced to take the decision. But data is readily available. So those kinds of tests you are calling as the non-parametric tests. So statistical measurability will not be there, but still you need to what to call forced to take the decision, yes or no. So the chi-square test is known as a non-parametric test. This is very important competitive exam question. Okay. So what is the purpose of the chi-square test in a single sentence? If you want to underline, through the chi-square test we are comparing the theory with that of the practice. So theory will be the nature. That nature you are going to observe, you are going to understand within the four-walled room by conducting the experiment. So the data will be what you call procured by you. This data you are comparing with the already available situation in the nature. If these two things are matches, beautiful conclusions you can make. That's why chi-square test is a so much useful test. Understand? Technically, if you speak, what are the advantages of the chi-square test? There are so many advantages are there. Okay. But before that, let us understand what is the testing procedure of the chi-square test. Very simple testing procedure. So testing procedure always starts with the null hypothesis. What is that? So here the null hypothesis is H naught. Okay. The fit is good fit. The fit is good fit. That's it. So remember that the chi-square test doesn't have any kind of symbolically representation of the null and alternative hypothesis. Simply you are going to express the verbal information. That means that based upon the problem, you are going to give a verbal statement, that's all. Same way, what is the alternative hypothesis going to be? H1. The fit is not good fit. That's it. The fit is not good fit. Then what is the test statistic? Test statistic. So here the chi-square test means you are going to apply the chi-square distribution. So here the symbol is going to be chi-square. Chi-square is equal to, okay, sigma y minus ei whole divided by ei whole square, which follows chi-square distribution with r minus 1 degrees of freedom. Till now I used to write n minus 1 degrees of freedom, but here I am using r minus 1 degrees of freedom. Some purpose is there. I will explain it. Okay. Now one more form is also there. What is that? Sigma oi square by ei, okay, minus capital N. This is one more formula which also follows chi-square distribution with r minus 1 degrees of freedom. Both give same answer, but most of the times I use this formula. Very easy to get answer by using this formula. Understand? Then what is the decision making? As usual, decision. If chi-square C, what is C? The chi-square test statistic value less than or equal to chi-square r minus 1. So what the decision making is going to be? We are going to accept the null hypothesis. If chi-square C is greater than chi-square r minus 1, so you are going to reject the null hypothesis. So same testing procedure for large sample test, small sample test, and this exclusive special test, non-parametric test. Understand? Now let us see the theoretical procedure. Okay. Now let us see the testing procedure. So before that, what are the advantages? Explain about chi-square test means you have to write all these things. What are the uses? It is useful to test goodness of fit. So that's what actually we wrote previously. The test is a good fit. What do you mean by goodness of fit? Understand? So as you all know that till now only 3 distributions. Actually there are 25 to 30 distributions are there. That means based upon the data, we are going to make use of these 25 to 30 distributions. For every data, only one unique distribution may not be giving you the complete information. Okay? Through the chi-square test, you are going to understand for the given data which distribution is suitable perfectly. Whether a binomial distribution, whether a Poisson distribution, whether a normal distribution, whether a negative binomial distribution, whether a chi-square distribution, F distribution, Cauchy distribution. So like there are so many distributions are there. Hotelling's T distribution, these are all advanced statistical tools. So through this chi-square test, before itself you can identify to this data, this distribution is apt, and by using that apt distribution, you are going to get complete information about the data. Such a way whether the distribution is good fit or not, to identify we are going to use the chi-square test. So what is that advantage? It is useful to test goodness of fit. The second is to test the independence of attributes in contingency tables. So these techniques are not there in our syllabus. So contingency tables means a table of what you call data which expresses information about the attributes. Attributes means non-measurable characteristics. So intelligence of the people, very difficult to measure them. Same way complexion, skin complexion of the human beings, very difficult. Same way the blindness, the efficiency of a particular person in any field like A.R. Rahman is there. How efficient he is in music. How do you rate him? A+, B+, isn't it? So these kinds of characteristics which cannot be measurable exactitude, what to call them as attributes. So whether the attributes are depending or independent to each other. A dark complexion fellow becomes a good musician. How do you say that? So music knowledge is different, skin color is different. There are so many real-time examples are there. Even whites also became good musicians. So you cannot conclude like that. So is there any link, interdependency between the skin color and as well as the intelligence? What to call these two are attributes. To test the attributes independency, you can apply the chi-square test. So in small sample test, it is useful for testing the hypothesis. What is that? The population variance is equal to a given value. So for this also you can apply the chi-square test. But remember that to apply the chi-square test, conditions are very, very important. What are the conditions? The sample observations are independent. That means there will not be any kind of influence among the samples when you are selecting. So all the samples should be probability samples. So under probability samples, what are all there? SRS is there, simple random sampling methods, and next stratified random sampling methods, systematic sampling methods, like different sample methods are there. Those methods only you need to apply. Sigma Y is equal to sigma EI. That should be equal to the total frequency N. What is Y? Observed frequencies. By conducting experiment, you are going to get this. What to call them? Y. Y stands for observed. EI stands for expected frequencies. By using formula, you are going to create the data. So remember that the total of Y should be equal to total of A. And finally, that should be equal to the total frequency. Actually, this is the checkpoint whether your problem is correct or not. Now the third, what is that? N should be possibly large, say more than 50. So total of the frequency should be more than 50. 49, 45 like that is there, you cannot apply the chi-square test. No theoretical cell frequency should be less than 5. If such is the case, it is pooled with the preceding or succeeding class frequency, such that pooled frequency is 5. Now, what do we mean by pooling here? Pooling means adding. Now, let us suppose that in one data, the OIEA values are like this. So, here 6, 7, 4, 3, okay, 5, now here 7, 8, 3, okay, 4, and here 6. Now exclusively if you speak, how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values are there. But what is the condition says that all OI values, so no theoretical cell frequency. So what is that? Expected value should not be less than 5. In that case, what is required? You should go for pooling. So if any expected frequency is less than 5, yes, here two frequencies are there, 3, 4. Okay. So if you want to add these two, you can add. Then the value becomes what? So 8 plus 3 is going to be 11. So this is called actually the backward pooling. Same way, this value can be added. So what is that? The 4 plus 6 is going to be what to call the 10. This is called forward pooling. So below value to above value if you add it, you call that backward pooling. Same way, top value if you add it to the following value, you call that one as a forward pooling. And now what happens? What is the exact frequency? 7, 8, okay. So for this complete value, only 11 would be there. So because these three values will not be there. Now same way mixed up. So these two values are mixed up. Understand? Now what are the degrees of freedom are going to be? Actually the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data, adjusted to how many values? 1, 2, 3 values. So degrees of freedom, that is R, is going to be, what is that? 3 minus 1. R minus 1 is nothing but it becomes what you called 3 minus 1. That's why instead of writing N, what I wrote here R, means in the R value sometimes adjustment would be possible. So we need to adjust the values whenever the theoretical values, expected values, is it less than 5, you need to make that one more than 5 by forward pooling or backward pooling. The fifth one, the degrees of freedom should be decreased by the number of parameters estimated. So 5 values converted into 3 values. So after that we go for estimation. So this is called the chi-square test procedure. So chi-square test for goodness of fit. So which means to test the discrepancy or the difference between theory and practice. So what is the null hypothesis? There is no significant difference between the experimental results and theoretical results. That means both are equal, like that we consider. Or else in a single line, how do you write? The fit is good fit. The fit is good fit. And what is the alternate hypothesis? H1. The fit is not good fit. Test statistic. So this is also one more test statistic. So sigma OI minus A whole square by A, which follows chi-square R minus 1. So how do you take the decision? So when you are going to accept H0, chi-square C less than or equal to chi-square R minus 1. In chi-square C more than chi-square R minus 1, we reject the null hypothesis, where Y E's are observed and the expected frequencies of the ith class. So this is called the chi-square test. So t-test, paired t-test, chi-square test is over. Okay. Now we go for examples. See here the paired t-test example. For selected 10 individuals randomly before and after sleep hours when a medicine is consumed are as follows. Test whether the medicine has any impact. Point number 1. Is it a small sample test, large sample test? So how many individuals are there? 10. Yes, it's a small sample test. And also before and after. That means same sample, but the data is before and after what you call conducting the experiment. So what is the experiment here? What you call a sleeping pill is there, tablet is there. So before giving that sleeping pill, isn't it? How many hours these patients, these individuals went into sleep? But after what you call giving that medicine, how many hours they went into sleep? Understand? Is there any difference? See, is there any difference means the pill is effective. The sleeping pill is effective. If there is no difference means what do you mean by that? The sleeping pill is not effective. So you need to still improve that drug. Understand? Such a way in the medical field you can apply the paired t-test. So what is the testing procedure as usual? So what is the conclusion? You can apply the paired t-test. So what is the null hypothesis? First, symbolic notation. mu1 is equal to mu2. What is mu1? Before giving that medicine, so on an average, how many hours all the 10 individuals felt, is it? Now here, after giving the medicine, how many hours of sleep they had? Before and after, both are equal. What do you mean by that? Here, the medicine is not working. So how do you write in terms of words? The drug has no impact in the sleeping hours of the individuals. This is one style. One more way also you can write. What is that? Before and after also, the sleeping hours of what you call the 10 individuals, it did not change. But what is the technique? Always match the sentence with that of the notations. Now we go for the alternative hypothesis. Is there any comparative words in the question? No. Whether the sleep has been increased, decreased, more effective, less effective, such any comparative words are there? No. That indicates that this test is absolutely a two-tailed test. That means not equal to sign. So what is that? The drug has an impact in the sleeping hours of the individuals. Don't confuse. Average sleeping hours before giving the medicine is not equal to average sleeping hours after what you called giving medicine. What do you mean by that? Yes, the medicine has been working. That's why I wrote the statement like this. Again I am telling you, alarming you, match the sentence with that of the notation. If that is matching, your statement is correct. Okay. Now let us go for application of the test statistic. So what is that? T is equal to d bar small s by square root of n minus 1, which follows t distribution n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So here the important calculation required. What is that? D means difference. So how do you get difference? Before sleep hours minus after sleep hours. So now the table format is going to be like this. So how many individuals? 10 individuals. So before sleeping hours. So this data I gave 7, 9, 6, 8, all these things. After giving medicine the sleeping hours. Then now I calculate the difference. How do you get the difference? Corresponding values, be careful. The first value minus the first value. The second value of the before sleeping minus the second value of the after sleeping. So you should not change the order, be careful. So 7 minus 9 minus 2, 9 minus 11 minus 2. Sometimes you get positive values also. Here all negative values are there. No, here two positive values are there. So negative, positive, mix would be there. So don't worry. But what is value we required? We required a square and sum of these values. That means all negative values also becomes positives. That means di square. So minus 2 square, 4 minus 2 square, 4 minus 6 square, 36. All squared values. What is the total is going to be? 103. Okay. Then what is the d bar? Sum of all the dA values by number of values. How many values are there? 10. So minus 1.8. Then what is the s square? So di square is there. D bar we know is substituted and simplified and taken the square root of this. So what is that? S is equal to 2.65. Substituted in the test statistic. So what do you get here? 2.0377. Modulus value this. So though negative value would be there, we consider only positive value. Now let us compare this value with that of the table value. So in the question any LOS value is given like 5% LOS, 1% LOS, 10% LOS. Whenever no LOS value is given, most of the times you can test at 5% LOS or in what you call medical kind of examples at 1% LOS you can test. Okay, 5 or 1%. So let us see the table value now. So how many degrees of freedom? That is most important. So 10 minus 1, 9 degrees. So let us see the table value. So what is the table value? So how many degrees of freedom? 9 degrees of freedom. Okay. What is the type of the test? Two-sided test means two-tailed test. Let us see 1%. Why I am taking 1% means the simple logic here. This is a medical related problem because life and death kind of situation arises. So with 99%, more than 99% accuracy, they need to release the drug. Understand? Now here, what is that corresponding table value is going to be 3.250. Now here, let us see what is that 3.250 or is 3.25. So this is the what you called the calculated value. So approximation value, calculated value, and which is more. Table value is more that of what you call the calculated value. Hence we accept the null hypothesis. Okay. So what is that statement? There is no impact of drug in the sleeping hours of the individuals. So the drug is not working. The drug is ineffective. Okay. So what to call this? An example for PAID test. Now we go for chi-square test application. So before that you read the problem really you will understand why actually the situation eligible to apply the chi-square test, because there are no statistical measures, there is no mean, there is no variance, only general information would be there. Through the general information you need to give a conclusion. See that the following table gives the number of aircraft's accidents occurred during the various days of a week. Test whether the accidents are uniformly distributed over the days of a week. Now, one aircraft maintenance company is there. According to their previous data, so on Mondays, how many accidents taken place? 14. Tuesdays, 18. Wednesdays, 12. Thursday, 11. Friday, 15. Saturday, 14. Overall data. By looking this data, can you conclude that all weekdays are having the equal effect as far as the accidents are concerned? Will you conclude like that? Or else if you see the individually all the data values, let us see that Tuesday more number of accidents taken place. Based upon this datum, this single information, can you conclude that Tuesday is a bad day? So on that day, no flight should fly, no flight should fly. Will you conclude like that? So after that, the next observation point is what? 15. So on Friday, how many? 15 days. So here, such a way, general conclusion, if you want to go for the test, you can apply here the chi-square test. Here there is no question of asking any kind of means comparison, variance comparison, whatever. The general information will be provided and they ask for what you call comparison. Okay. Now here, what is the null hypothesis? So there is no notation for the chi-square test. So what you can write here? The accidents are uniformly distributed over the days of a week. Okay. Now next. The test statistic. If you want, you can write the alternate hypothesis. So what you can write alternate hypothesis here? H1. The accidents are not uniformly distributed. So better you write, because while evaluating your answer, we check for null and alternate hypothesis, both the things. H1, not uniformly distributed. What is the test statistic? Chi-square is equal to sigma y minus a whole square, by which follows chi-square r minus 1. So what is it? Now here we need to calculate the expected frequencies values, because the given values are observed, original values. Through the nature we are going to apply. We are going to collected these values. Then the expected frequency means what? You need to apply the formula here, mathematical technique. So how do you get expected value? Means average only. So sum of all the days by the number of values. So how do you get that? The number of accidents actually given by their totals. Total number, I mean to say 6 things, 6 days. So what do you get? 14. So this is fixed expected value. So originally 14 accidents taken place on Monday, but theoretically through the formula, what we expected 14 accidents. But here 18 accidents, but here only 14. So like that we compare OI values, EI values. And we got OI minus EI, observation OI minus EI whole square. square of these values and sum of these values. So what do you get? Chi square c. So this value total is the answer. But how many degrees of freedom? 6 degrees of freedom. So 2.148 less than that of the 11.07. Any LOS value is given? No. So hence we are comparing at 5%. That too, for how many degrees of freedom? 5 degrees of freedom. So this is the chi-square table. So how many degrees of freedom? So 5 degrees of freedom at 5%. So 5 degrees of freedom at 5% means 0.05. So what is the table value? 11.070. So what is that? 11.070. So which is more than the calculated value. Hence we accept the H0. That is, the accidents equally distributed to all weeks. That means we should not conclude that there is no dangerous day, there is no bad day. So many number of accidents takes place in all those days. All days are equally good. In any day you can start any kind of work. Understand? So such a way, if you want to conclude the nature's pattern by what you called the simple data whatever you collected, you are going to apply the chi-square test. Right? Okay. So the same problem you apply one more formula. So what is that formula? Same problem can be done by using this formula also. This is very simple expansion. What is required? You write OA values, EA values, you calculate OA square. Now what do you get? OA square by EA you calculate, and this total you calculate. So the total minus the n value, total of the frequencies you put here. You will get the same answer without any deviation. This is for explanation purpose. I use this first formula, but most of the times for the calculation purpose I prefer this formula. In a simple way you will get the answer. So you can apply this formula also. Check this answer with this formula whether correct or not. Okay, I stop here. Thank you.